And we're looking, there we can see the shot from outside. We're trying to get a little bit of a technical issue worked out right now. There we are at 87 George Street in the Byward Market. You can see actually the fire rescue, their truck outside, all of their equipment. We've got a fancy little kind of, I don't even know what that is. Well, we'll just start talking. How's that? And then eventually they're going to actually find us in terms of video. Joining us, Captain Rodney Fleck. Okay, so while we kind of get into the issues, people can still understand what we're seeing right now in terms of the ice. And it's a very different winter for you. People really need to be careful.
Right. With all the snow we had very early in the winter and the thick snow, the little bit of ice that was there before the snow came has now been blanketed. And it's got a very good insulation topping on it, and because of that the ice hasn't grown much in the last little while. So what you have is you have slush ice and you have a lot of snow ice on top, which looks like good ice but is not good ice to walk on at all. So
essentially when people see ice, in terms of knowing what's going to be safe, if either walking by themselves, if they're skating, or if they have a group of people going on, clear is our best bet.
That's correct, yeah. Clear, opaque looking ice, it looks like you can see through it. That's the strongest and best ice you can see. If it's white, slushy type ice, unless you take the top layer off to see what's below, you don't know what you're dealing with at all.
And then really that gray, there's a lot of things going on underneath there.
If it's very, very gray, that means there's very little ice and there's dirty water underneath it, very close to the surface.
It's nice to be informed, but unfortunately sometimes it happens that there are incidents. So what should people know, or how can people react if they find themselves in a situation?
First thing to do is don't panic. As hard as that's going to be, you've got to understand that if you start to panic in that situation, your chances of a good outcome is not good. So what you want to do is not panic at all. If I used some of the terminology that we use in life safety, there's a rule of 1-10-1, which means you basically have 1 minute to get your breathing under control when you go into cold water. After that, you have 10 minutes of useful movement of your limbs to do what you want to do, to form a plan to try and get yourself out of the situation. And the other one is 1 hour. If you're in there for 1 hour, you're probably going to be unconscious and your chances of survival are not good.
Well, it's interesting to know that it's the 1-10-1. Unfortunately, you hope you're not actually thinking through the last one.
That's right.
When it comes to the numbers. Okay, we just had an opportunity to see some of the equipment that's here. Can you take us through? I know we've seen you guys out, and I know we've done some great stories on the water rescue.
Right.
This is all the equipment that you guys would be using.
That's correct.
To do these rescues.
Yeah. As you can see, there's a variance of equipment. The most important thing we have here is our thermal protection suits, which are dry suits. They keep the water out. They keep the warmth in. We have two different types of suits that we use. This one is much more thermal protective than what the other one is. The other one over there, which is a swift water suit, is just used for rescue type stuff. So it gives you a lot more mobility. When we have our situation where we actually have to go into the water, swim to get to a victim, you need a lot of dexterity and a lot of mobility, and that's a much better suit to use.
This one's limited.
That's right. This one you float just as if you got 2 or 3 life jackets on. It's very buoyant.
I'm looking through. I mean, of course, we got the standard stuff and rope and helmets. The clamps or walking on ice. These are things actually you're using, but even for an everyday person, these are actually quite useful.
For sure. What people sometimes forget about is that, yes, the worst thing is to go through the ice and go into the cold water. Now you got to deal with hypothermia. The other thing is probably going to happen to more people than not is you're going to slip on the ice and you could hit your head. And now you're into a situation, if you're by yourself, you're unconscious and out in the cold, in the elements and whatnot. So that's why we have the cleats that go on the bottom of our feet.
Interesting information. I won't even we got this big yellow thing going on, but in terms of the people, understand the ice, understand what's safe. The clear, clear is the one you want to work at. We've been dealing with really mild and up and down temperatures. Really be careful when you're looking at ice.
That's correct.
Awesome. Thanks for all of the information.
You're very welcome.